Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat for Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we decide the final four where we come into ISM Raceway 1 point to the good over Denny Hamlin above that cut line. But first we had the Xfinity Series race where we had subscriber Skippy 2100 in the car for this race as he actually went a little bit wide there in turn 1 as he actually got to the back of the 08 of Gray Gaulding here in Phoenix. But Skippy would continue to kind of run about midfield, actually getting into it with a few drivers there in the 99. ISM being another track that we usually struggle at quite a bit in the Xfinity Series, and sure enough he came through on the final lap after struggling most of this race. He came through out of turns 4 just in front of the 5 car to cross the line there in front of, I believe that was Matt Mills in the number 5 as he would finish. Certainly not in the best position there as you see P22 on your screen, but now it's time to set our sights on the Cup Series qualifying here at Phoenix as we came out of turns 4, coming through to cross the line with a 26.0 right on the dot, and we go P8 here at ISM. So a great qualifying effort for us, and hopefully this will set us up well here for this race to hopefully make it into the Final Four with Kyle Busch on the pole.
We're live at ISM Raceway. We've reached the penultimate event of this thrilling season. After today, the Championship 4 will be set. Who will be heading to Homestead with a shot at a championship? It's time to find out.
Alright, thank you Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for what could be a very important race for us in our Cup Series career. Corey LaJoie just doesn't look like themselves. He's slower than normal. Kevin Harvick sent to the back after unapproved body modification during qualifying. And Michael McDowell had an engine change after qualifying, so he is starting at the back as well. So we're ready to get this finale of the round of 8 at least underway and hopefully have a chance to fight in the Final Four in the next one in Miami. Now as the green flag is out and we are underway here at Phoenix International Raceway behind the 95 of Matt Benedetto as we're going to probably get aggressive as possible early on considering the point situation. We went 3 wide there for a moment down into turns 1. There you see right in front of us Denny Hamlin, our kind of biggest competitor right now. He is 1 point behind us, and if he can get 1 more point obviously here than us in Stage 1, we'll be tied for that final position. Martin Truex Jr., he's another driver that's notable. He has to win, and so does Joey Logano if they want to make it into the Final Four, and as well as Kurt Busch. So Truex, Logano, Kurt Busch all have to win to get in. So it's really just down to myself and Hamlin on points, and both of us are just going to hope that a driver like Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, or Kurt Busch does not win. You see right now, Joey Logano is in P2 behind Kyle Busch, so he would put some pressure on as we would be able to clear the 14 of Clint Bowyer now on lap 3 as we came through on lap 7, still running at P5. It actually changed up the setup a bit. Had a subscriber, Kevin Kang, recommend a setup, and it's certainly working really well now as we came through down this back straightaway. But Denny Hamlin was still running in front of us as we came through now on a lap 10 through turns 3 and turns 4. We get sideways on the exit of the corner and into the wall we go. A big moment, but we hang on to it. And as that's happening on the back straightaway, Landon Castle has gone spinning as well, and that's going to bring out the caution early on here on lap 10 in Phoenix there. As I just lost the back end, corrected, and nearly just drove straight into the wall. We did make a little bit of contact with the wall, but did not pick up any damage because we scrubbed off enough speed, but we dropped down to P10 after that caution came out. Landon Castle's crash kind of saves us there and gets us grouped back up with everybody now as the green flag is back out, and this would only leave 5 laps to go on the stage. Truex here up in P8. We're going to get aggressive again like we did on the initial start and make it 3 wide as we go down towards turns 1. Hamlin in P3, Logano P2, hoping that we can just run down Denny Hamlin here in these final laps of this first stage as we go 3 wide with Chase Elliott. Elliott obviously won last episode. He will be competing for a championship here in the Cup Series in the next episode at Homestead, Miami. Now as we actually sent it a little bit too deep there into turns 3. Now as we exit turns 4, Keselowski leads in front of myself at least for P7 as we go down towards turns 1. Up the inside of him is Kyle Busch though, driving away again. Kyle Busch is certainly one of the fastest cars here today so far at Phoenix. Now as Hamlin would take over P2 in front of 3rd place Matt Benedetto, but you see here, Hamlin had dropped down the order down to P5 as we came through to start the final lap in this stage as Logano was up in P4. Right now, myself and Hamlin, if it finishes this way in stage 1, we are tied for the final spot, so we're going to have to try and get aggressive here and try to turn that tie into instead a 2-point cushion over Hamlin. So we're going to look to the inside down this back straightaway for the final time here in turns 3 and stage 1, side by side for the position with Hamlin, and he's going to have the advantage as we're sideways on the exit of the corner. Hamlin is going to make it a tie after stage 1 for the final spot in the Final Four. Kyle Busch wins stage 1. He's obviously going to make the Final Four at this point. So it's at least Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott. Now it's down between myself, Hamlin, and then maybe if someone else wins, but we would not actually come to the pit lane and get ready to go green right here from P6. Kyle Busch and Matt DiBenedetto on that front row as the green flag is out. Obviously, DiBenedetto has actually gotten a win in this playoffs. If you remember, he won at the Charlotte Rollers. We actually got to the right rear of Joey Logano as he checked up quite more than I was expecting. I turned left right into his right rear because I was actually trying to get in line behind him instead, and he just slowed up. I just turned right into the right rear quarter panel of his cars. Were side by side down this back straightaway into turn 3. Obviously, we had a bit of a run in last episode with Joey Logano in Texas, but behind us, you see Denny Hamlin has actually fallen a few positions, which is going to be huge for us because, like I said, we're tied right now in points at the end of stage 1 as we go down into turns 1 behind the 22 of Logano. Keselowski was trying to put on some pressure, but we would continue running in P5 behind Logano. Now as we came through out of turns 2, there's trouble behind Eric Jones. Just went hard into the outside wall after blowing a tire. That was a heavy hit to the outside wall as the caution is going to come out again here in ISM Raceway. This time we would pit though for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires and make a bit of a wedge adjustment. We would line up P5 just behind our Stuart Haas Racing teammate of Clint Boyer now as the green flag is back out. Boyer still looking for win number 1 of the season and of our career mode so far. Now as he's run a lot stronger recently in career mode, so it's nice to see another teammate of ours running good. Now we just got to get Almirola running better, and even Kevin Harvick. As you see though, Joey Gase, I forgot to mention, he stayed out, so that certainly kind of gets him in the way of everybody, so we have to pounce on the opportunity as we're going to send it up his inside down into turn 3. Logano up to P2 behind Kyle Busch. Logano knows second place isn't going to cut it today. Now as we exit turn 4, crossing the line just behind the 22 as we came through now to start the final lap, continuing to run P3 behind Logano and Kyle Busch as they had actually pulled out a bit of a gap towards or against myself now as we came through turns 1 and turns 2. But you obviously know at this point Denny Hamlin is behind us, so we are definitely going to have a points buffer over Hamlin here at the end of the second stage, as it seems like the 11 car has started to fade here in stage 2 as we come through out of turns 4. Kyle Busch will win stage 2 as he's done so many times this season. Logano P2, we get P3 here in the stage, and Denny Hamlin, he did not even get a top 5 obviously, and he would actually finish down in P8, which means we are 5 points to the good coming into this third and final stage where no pit stops were necessary at the end of stage 2, so we're going to get right back into the action now as the final stage is underway. A 5-point buffer is what we have right now. As long as Logano, Truex, or Kurt Busch doesn't win and we beat Denny Hamlin, we will be in the final 4 as we're going to take it 3 wide for the lead down into turns 1 with Kyle Busch and Joey Logano now as we're very eager to make something happen now as we come through out of turns 2. I want to make it easy and I just want to win this race, and that way we won't have to worry now as we go down this back straightaway 3 wide for the lead. Kyle Busch backs out knowing he's probably very easily in the final 4, and it's going to now be myself and Joey Logano side by side on the exit of the corner, a little bit sideways there as we come through to cross the line, completing this first and opening lap. I don't think I've ever led a lap at ISM Raceway, and we're trying to change that right now as we come through down into turns 1 side by side with the Shell Pennzoil driver for Penske Racing of Joey Logano now as we go down this back straightaway. He's not going to give up, and I'm not going to give up either now as both of us know this situation right here. He knows he has to finish P1 to have a chance of fighting for a championship in Miami. As we come through though, we will barely lead our first ever lap at ISM Raceway as now as he's going to continue to battle up our outside down into turns 1 as Logano just did not want to give up, and certainly can't blame him considering his situation, but we had the momentum to clear him on the exit of turn 2. But this lead wouldn't last very long. We come through now on lap 45. Kyle Busch had gotten to my inside and I saw how much faster he was, and I decided to just kind of play it easy on Kyle Busch knowing the situation right now we are in, so I decided to just kind of stay up high and let Kyle Busch go by at this point because I was just holding him up. But you see now Martin Truex Jr. has climbed up to P3 behind us as all of a sudden he has turned a switch and he is moving forward. He's in the same boat as other drivers having to win to get in as they got sideways on the exit of turn 4. Now Truex would pounce on the opportunity. He had gotten to my inside as we went down towards turns 1. Harvick has gotten up in the picture as we now fade down into the third position on lap 49 of 78. Truex, at this point I was getting nervous because it was quite evident that he was faster than Kyle Busch. You can see right here on lap 54 he had gotten to the back bumper of Kyle Busch at this point, but now he was having an issue. He couldn't get past 18, and I was a huge Kyle Busch fan right here. I was just like, please whatever you do, just hold up the 19 and do not let him pass at this point, because I didn't have the speed to match Truex. Now as we came through on lap 62 of 78, we were starting to deal with lap traffic. The tire icon came on, so now we were starting to think about green flag pit stops at this point as we had continued to battle with lap traffic, and that would hold up both Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. came through now on lap 64, looking to the outside as Joey Gase once again in the way like he was earlier. Now so he's going to hold us up and allow our teammate of Kevin Harvick to pounce on the opportunity, and he gets past me. We drop down to P4 as things weren't looking great at this point, but we had to make a green flag pit stop very shortly, so we came through on lap 65, now down into turns 1, and it was time to make our pit stop here. Green flag pit stop, no cautions yet in this third and final stage, which made me very concerned because we were pitting earlier than everybody else now as we came through. It was just going to be a half a can and two tire pit stops, so at this point I'm just hoping that it stays green, because if we get a caution right now, our season is over. Other cars are a lap down, we would be forced to take a wave around and start in the back, so I was just hoping that it would stay green as we get a 7.9 second pit stops for half a can of fuel, 2 tires. There was slight repairs I could have made, but I decided to just get whatever I could and not take that extra second of repairs. Now as we rejoin the track, obviously here down in P39, we had the tire advantage at this point, and we would be able to, sure enough, start to close in on the cars up ahead like Kurt Busch and whatnot in the coming laps. This came to on lap 69 now, trying to make a pass on Kurt Busch on the outside, and obviously other drivers were having to start to make pit stops very shortly here as we came through. Sure enough, on lap 71, some drivers making their way into the pit lane. Joey Logano there, you see, he's in a must-win, and that was Kyle Busch. He had stayed out for a few extra laps at this point now as we went down into turns 3 up the inside of the 96 of Park Kligerman, but sure enough, Kyle Busch came to the pit lane, and then Truex had taken the lead, but then he had come to the pit lane now on lap 73, so we are back on the lead lap, and this was where the race begins, because now Truex, where is he going to come out? Because Kyle Busch, to my surprise, had to come back in the pit lane. I wasn't sure what happened, but all of a sudden, we come through on lap 75. Truex comes out right in front of me as we were going to be battling here with him for the win. Truex needs to win, but now it's turning us into a must-win, because if Truex wins, obviously we're out, so we're going to have to win this race to get into the final 4, and so does Truex now as we're going to come through turns 1 of the inside of the 8 of Hemrick through lap traffic. We get clear, and there's a big gap between Truex and the next car, so it's going to come down to both of us now as we approach just 2 laps to go here in Phoenix. I don't want to wreck Martin Truex Jr. to win this race, as he has raced us clean all season, but he already has more speed than us. You can tell that right there now, as we're definitely going to have to try and move him. We send it into turns 1, but couldn't quite reach his bumper now as we come through turns on the exit of turns 2, down this back straightaway. A lap and a half to go here in Phoenix Raceway. Still green, no cautions have come out this final stage, as we're going to give the 19 a shot to the bumper. He's a little bit sideways, but he hangs on, and now he's pulling away on the exit of turns 4. The white flag is in the air for the first time today. We heavily cut the dog leg, which is perfectly legal. Keep in mind, as we go down into turns 1, we're going to have to cut low as possible here in turns 2 to try and get to that 19, but we got too low, and spinning we go out of turns 2 now as we do a complete 360 and regather the car and get back going. Harvick has gotten up to us, but our whole season has just come to an end here in ISM Raceway now, as Martin Truex Jr. will win his way in to the final 4 as the heartbreak sets in now as we come through to finish in P2 at ISM Raceway. Disappointment to say the least now, as our worst finish this whole round of 8 was P6, and we still get eliminated. But very unfortunate. Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott both won their way in, as they would have been eliminated on points, and that's what hurt us the most. Obviously, now as you guys know, I'm not going to wreck someone for a win when they race me clean the whole time, the whole season. There you see your final 4. Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, and Kyle Busch. Definitely should have been me and Hamlin in there, and I guess I should have wrecked Martin Truex Jr., but I said after the race I will not wreck someone for a win that has raced me clean in the past. I screwed up on the final lap, not happy with myself for that, but we have to look forward. Very disappointed with myself, because I knew in turns 1 and 2 I had to arc turns 2 as best as possible, because you saw the gap between myself and Truex, so I just arced it too hard, hit the apron, and the car just got away from me, as it just unfortunately goes like that sometimes. So I guess I know some of you won't be happy with how that one played out at the end, but like I said, I'm not going to just completely wreck someone. I know it's just a AI, but still, that's not how I race here in career mode. So I know some would be happy if I turned him for the win, and I would have been so happy to be in the final four, but I just couldn't quite just dump him. I knew that's what I had to do, is just dump him, but I tried to race him clean, and unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. In the next one, we will decide a championship between Keselowski, Truex, Elliott, and Kyle Busch. Elliott looking for championship number 1, and we'll see if he can get it. The other drivers looking for championship number 2. So I will see you guys in the next one for Homestead, Miami, and hopefully it'll be a good one. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have yourselves a great day.